Hello, good evening, and welcome to JACKOCAR. It is the fourth season of the Kia series, the second tier of JACKOCAR. Of course, you can catch up with Cup every Thursday. My name is Gareth Hall, and you are joining me in the commentary box for this opening round of the season here from Albert Park Circuit in Australia, where we're set to kick off what is possibly going to be another memorable season of league racing over here at JACKOCAR. Of course, last season off the back of a Dutch championship that went all the way to speedway racer Yuri himself, as he came across the line with his brother Leroy to make it a 1-2 for the Hasselager family, and wrap up a pretty swell time. If you're Yuri, he really deserved it. He had been working hard over the last few seasons and definitely earned it. But we're back for another season, another time racing, and we're going to be back down under. We're going to the upside down, and it is Australia. And with just 15 seconds to go before we commence qualifying here. Of course, qualifying run ever so slightly differently. If you're used to do usual league racing, well, you are in for a shock. We have got plenty of different things going on here, whether that be rules, whether that be qualifying, whether that be the race. I will try and endeavour to keep you informed as we continue. But if you're tuning in, let me know if you can hear me all loud and clear. It'd be good to hear from you guys. If you are listening, make sure you drop into the comments, give us a like, and of course say hi in the comments. It's always good to see you guys enjoying it. And we are about to load into what is set to be a fantastic race here to open the season. We've already seen Australia race in the Cup League, and let's just say there was fireworks at that one. I'm expecting to see exactly the same thing coming tonight. Good evening to everyone tuning in this evening. Great to see you all coming in, saying hi. I will be in the solo for this one, so I'll be bringing you as much comms as I can. I have to take a slight break. I'm a bit rusty. I haven't been doing this for it's a couple of months or so. I haven't done a solo one in what feels like forever, but we are going down to Australia. It is a track length of around about 3.295 miles. Of course, the track has been slightly altered in the for the 2022 season, but however, it is still a 350 metre drag down from P1 to turn 1. Top speed around here will be around about 300 kilometres an hour. That's about 184 to 186 mile an hour on the approach to turn 1. Full throttle 73% of the lap, especially with that new blast through from what used to be turn 9 and 10. Of course, it now starts all the way down from 8 and goes down to a new turn 10. So it's all changed. Drivers have to have changed how they feel, how they change the car, how they set up the car. It is all changed. Of course, some of the circuits has been widened, some has been narrowed, and it has been smoothed out, which should make it feel a little bit nicer. The fastest corner here, it is that turn 11 and 12, the sweeper, where of course you get some fantastic lateral movements from the cars as they make their way through the left-hander and the right-hander. They take that at around 155 miles an hour. Slowest corner is turn 15, the penultimate one of the lap. They take that around about 55 miles an hour. Gear changes, well, it's going to have changed slightly with the new layout. However, it was always around about 55 per lap, which over a 50% distance makes about 1595. We've got qualifying going on, and well, what happens here at qualifying? It is one-shot qualifying. So everyone will get a chance to come out. They'll come out in bursts of around about 45 seconds to 1.5 minutes, and they will be making their way out on circuit, get one warm-up lap, and then do or die. They send it around that lap. If they invalidate, unfortunately, back to the grid you go. And of course, it will be the reigning champion that will be coming out last. He gets preference of coming out last and a slightly grippier circuit, but it looks as though we've got clear weather here at Australia, which is good to see. We've had some mixed conditions. I'll just get the track map up for you all. Everyone I'm expecting, as the game allows, will be starting on that lovely soft tyre. So we will get up everything. Oh, but there we go. Good to see, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. As I said, my name is Gareth Hall, joining you in the commentary box for this one, hopefully bringing you some good commentary to lighten the mood after what has been a bit of a down and dark moment for those within the UK and around the world. And I would know a number of drivers will be using some all-black crash helmets to commemorate and celebrate the life of Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II. So it's good to see the guys will be putting a little bit of a spin on their liveries tonight. But it was all about the duty, and it is my duty, however, to lighten the mood and hopefully bring you some great racing. But we're just getting word, it looks like we might have a bit of a wet race, so that is going to make qualifying all the more important. So make sure you stay tuned for that one, and I will quickly run through what we've got coming up in this qualifying session. Well, as I said, we have got some time slots coming out, and due to be in about 45 seconds time, we will see our debutant. It's Lesty de Twig. It is Matt Lester, making it another Matt in JACKOCAR. We seem to be collecting them at the moment, so Matt will be making his way out on circuit. He will be debuting in the number 79 machine. He'll be followed out by Robin Burda, and Robin, who was otherwise known as Rageman32, all the way over from Germany. He'll be racing tonight in this one. He'll be out. And then we've got Jamie Bromley, and those that know Jamie Bromley, otherwise known as Splinter, he's coming out third. Now, Splinter is very, very quick on his day. I've raced against Splinter when I was back in Kia, and, well, he can definitely put in a shift when it comes to getting the moves done and getting some good results. I'm expecting a lot from Jamie. He said he's a little bit slower, but, you know, all words I'm expecting from Splinter there. Same thing goes to Danny Quinn, and Quinn's another one that's maybe not had the go on this game that he's so far probably deserved. Quinn, a very quick driver on his day, and the 45 will be heading out at 11 minutes and 45 seconds, and I'm hopefully we'll be getting some decent results from Quinn. It's he needs a little bit of a pick-me-up after what has been a bit of a stop-start season for him. And well, we'll go down as we go on. I'll give you a little bit of a rate on the liveries as they go out. But welcome to everyone joining the stream. Great to have you along, guys. Good evening to Kaya. Good to have you along. Good evening to Thomas, Leroy. Plenty of you. Jacko's in the stream. Jess is in the stream. Great to have you along. Isaac's in there as well. So yeah, great to have you guys. Hopefully I do this justice, and it's good to get back behind the microphone for the first time properly in what is almost been 18 months, I believe. So first one out, and we will go to Lesty, and who should be on circuit right now in a very, very suave orange and blue livery for Lesty as he makes his way around as into just warming up those tyres, and he's going to be the first one out, setting the timer for everyone else. It's a benchmark time that, of course, the track's still very green, so we're expecting times to go down as the time goes on. Well, what happened last time we were here at Kia? It was season 3, it was last season, round 4, April the 12th. It was 154 days ago. And in that one, it was Kamababa that took pole position in the 1:22.327. However, expecting times to be around about 3-4 seconds faster as Lesty starts his first flying lap in the first qualifying lap of the season. Does he keep it clean? He does indeed. Nicely done there. Tucked in through what can be quite a difficult turn 1 and turn 2. Easy to get it wrong. Down towards a sports centre braking zone. A right-hander, almost 90-degree turn, and into a 90-degree turn through the left-hander. This corner can catch you out, as you flick through the right hand and keep it on the black stuff, and he does very nicely indeed from Lesty. And it's all about maintaining speed, carrying his speed. He's going to go purple, and he does. And now onto the new reprofiled straight, and it's pretty much a flat straight all the way down to what is the sweeper at turn 10 and turn 11. And well, Lesty, you know, still going, and then finally it arrives at speed, and then you've got to pull it in, keep it within the white lines. Does very nicely indeed to just about keep a tyre on the outside of the yellow line to make sure that he's kept at least one with the 4 inside the track limits. Slows it down for another reprofiled corner with that raised red curb, which can cause the cars to bounce. Of course, here at JACKOCAR we are running simulation damage, so if anyone picks up any damage, it will hurt you in the long run. But Lesty running round the final corner, DRS wide open, as you can see a lovely view through the front window, and there you go, a 19.876, which is a decent time there. Just to reference you guys, when Cup were here, that was on the 18th of August. Of course, the guys that are slightly quicker, it was well, of the drivers that are competing in tonight, we saw, I believe it was, so I'm just going to go on board with Rageman for you. I'm looking down at my notes at the same time, so don't worry, I will try and keep everyone on screen as much as possible. It was Yuri that took a 1:19.161, so that's the benchmark for guys in this league that have also raced it so far this season. So Yuri with a 1:19, that was good enough for 12th. Jess took a 1:19.438, and Splinter took a 1:19.841. So expect the times to be around about the 19s. Do we see someone dare to drop in into the 18 to be a good time as Rage Man's about to come around the final corner. He went a little bit deep, and well, he'll be able to open the DRS and send it down. Will he be able to beat the current opening time? He does. It's a half a second faster. Rageman a 1:19.327, very quick indeed. 2/10 of what Yuri did in the Cup competition just a few short weeks ago. There we go, and the game's still maybe not the most optimised for spectating. I'm trying to see if I can go on board with Quinn. And I can, sporting a lovely little bit there of the sky blue team speed livery, and a bit of gold and a bit of black on the back as well. Very nice indeed. It's very much will stand out, especially I'd imagine in darker conditions. Whether we go to night races, of course, we're expecting plenty more races come up this season. We've got plenty on the calendar. I will talk you through it as we go on throughout the evening, as there are plenty of nuances. I will explain to you the points. I'll explain to you the rules, and I'll explain to you what these guys will need to do to get themselves into what we call the postseason, and it is of course a hybrid league with NASCAR, and well, with sort of taking a little bit of inspiration from NASCAR, I should say, as we've got Quinn here making his way around. We'll go on board as we've got a lovely shark tooth little vinyl there on the halo, and we'll see. Right, Quinn. Oh, there's an apex in there somewhere, but he's about to come into the penultimate corner. Does very nicely, does Danny. And now one more final corner. Quite easy to get this one wrong. He can light up the rear tyres and spin it. However, it looks as though Quinn has got it right down towards line. What's this one going to be? It's going to be in the 19s. It's a 19.1, sorry, Splinter. I apologise. Splinter is on... I missed his lap, so I do apologise, Jamie. That was a 19 flat from him. So I will go on board now with Thomas, who has invalidated his one. So Thomas invalidating on his lap, so he will be starting from the back of the grid. But no need to worry here, of course. Simulation damage, which means usually we tend to see safety cars, and usually it tends to mean that no matter where you start, you'll find yourself heading in all directions come all time throughout the race. So now we'll go and we'll see what Kaya can do. Kaya running a... Cool, I'm trying to work out what that colour is. It's not quite black, it's not quite maroon, but it's almost brown, Kaya, as he's making his way around. As you can say, a little bit of snap of steer there, as he's making his way. A nice movements from Kaya as he makes his way through onto the reprofiled back straight, going past the golf course on the left hand side and the lake on the right hand side. And it's all about if Kaya can get this next portion of the lap in. It's very easy to get it wrong, and but you can see, oh, there we go, and there's the first one. Kaya into the wall, big crash there, loses the front left, and the tyre tether's doing their job. But Kaya, unfortunately, starting off qualifying, he looks as though he was a little bit skittish going onto the curb, and unfortunately the curb will bite back. It is a circuit that is not favourable to if you push the limits. OKK is about to start his lap here, and OKK, who of course won the first ever JACKOCAR race, which I believe actually was Australia. I'm sure I'll stand corrected, but I'm pretty sure it was Australia. OKK, so he is a driver with a pedigree here. However, it looks as though he got a this and next lap invalidation, so unfortunately for OKK, he's going to add his name to those that will be starting towards the back of the grid, like sort of T. Nevitt, or Thomas, and of course Kaya, who we just saw crash out. So we'll go on board with Sully, and we'll see, Sully, what are you doing as he's making a way round in towards the main straight. So there we go, DRS wide open. In fact, let's go on board with Sully, and we'll follow him round a lap here at the Albert Park circuit in Australia, as the game decided apparently we didn't want that at all. Let's see if we can try that again. There we go. So apologies for that, not quite sure what that was all about. But down towards Sports Centre, the right hander here at turn 3 in towards turn 4, just using a little bit of the curb. You can use the curb on the right hand side to almost balance the car out. Try to not use too much of that AstroTurf on the left there, and now it's all about carrying the speed through this very fast right kink. He's gone purple in sector 1, of course. Unfortunately, it's something that's still not been rectified. We never know if that's actual case or not, but we're going to go now through the exit of turn 8 all the way down through to turn 9 and turn 10 in towards the third and final sector. Can he kiss? There you go, kiss the left, kiss the right. He takes a little bit of gas off there, so shrubbing off a little bit of speed that will harm you as you come down this DRS, this straight here down in towards the braking zone of turn 11, and now it's turn 12 through turn 14. All important, you need to carry the speed here. You can mount the curb a little bit there, and now it's all about getting it right. Don't light up the rear tyres because you can put it in the wrong direction. There's Sully coming into the final corner, and he's going to open up the throttle, open up DRS, and down across the line. What will speed Sully be able to do? It's going to be second row of the grid so far, 19.306, 200ths of a second faster than Rageman in fourth position, as we're now going on board with who's several people are tipping to do particularly well this season. Is Jess in a lovely what is almost like a solar livery, very very sunny indeed, as Jess is out there on the circuit. And yeah, Jess, she's one of those drivers that just picks up solid points. She never really gets herself in too much trouble. I think when we saw her in the Cup Series at Saudi Arabia, I think it's the first time that I've actually seen her get in too much trouble in the steward. She tends to keep herself out of the way, but what will she be able to do? 18, 19, 3, very good lap there from Jess, puts herself up into fifth position, and well, look at that, third through to fifth, split by less than half a tenth of a second, so it's going to be quick, and it's going to be pretty frenetic come the end of this one. Newgarden, who is one of the drivers that will be taking a Joker tonight. So a Joker, for those that are uninitiated here at JACKOCAR, is for everyone else in every race this season. It is a mandatory two-stop, and God, how did you get away with that one, Matt? As you can see, it's a mandatory two-stop for everyone. So everyone must make two stops during the race. Now, if you're on a Joker, you can make one stop, so you can take off what is effectively around about 25 to 30 seconds of your race time. Of course, you're going to be a slightly older tyre, so you're going to have to look after them in the start of every stint. However, you can make it pay, and if you win your Joker, you get extra points come the playoffs, which I will explain in due course with how the points work. But Newgarden up onto the second row of the grid, joining his speed teammate, making it a speed 1, 2, 3, and that was a that was a nice move there from, was it Mr. Ricketts? It was indeed, as Jacko, the league owner himself, decides to pirouette through turn 1, just into the path of what I believe may have been Kingan. So nicely done there from Jack, who looks to be running a Mercedes-inspired livery. And well, he on his outlap, just, well, let's call it warming up the tyres. So I'm sure that's what he was attempting to do. But we'll go on board with Kingan, the Swedish driver, and Isaac here making his way through the first sector in towards the second sector. And Isaac, who tends to get himself up in the right positions as well, very good indeed at just sitting in that bubble around about fifth position upwards. It can have some very good days, but equally, we saw last season, sometimes it just doesn't work in Isaac's favour. He does tend to be a bit of a polarising racer. It either goes really well or it doesn't go well at all. He's catching up to a little bit of lap traffic. Luckily, it looks like they get out of the way, and so that's going to send him down through into the DRS zone towards turn 11. Of course, 3 DRS zones here in Australia, which give you that extra little bit of boost. I prefer push to pass that IndyCar have got, but you know, if you want some IndyCar, you can actually tune in to JACKOCAR on Friday, where we will be debuting the first ever IndyCar League here on Project Cars 2 at Sonoma Raceway, as Isaac almost drifts his way around the final corner. What's it going to be? It looks as though it's going to be a high 19. It is a 19.849. That puts him down in 7th position. Jacko was out on the circuit, and after warming up those tyres quite nicely indeed, he will be outperforming to try and get himself a well, you'd imagine a slightly better result this season compared to what we saw from him last year. It didn't quite go the way of Jacko, and he's a bit of an intermittent driver. He wanted to get more involved in the racing. He does very nicely indeed on a Thursday night, joining Owen in the commentary box for the Cup Series. And we'll see what he can do here as he makes his way, as Jake has apologies, missed that one. Jake has an 18.942. That's a mega lap there from Jake. And Jake's not gonna be happy that I missed that one, because he's put himself on pole position. But with a minute left to go, we've got Jacko and we've got Yuri out on the circuit. So as soon as Jacko finishes this one, of course Jacko's standing in as a reserve tonight, so he may not be in full time, but he will be when he's here, looking to get some decent results. What can he do as he comes through towards the final 3 corners on this one? Keeps it on the black stuff. You're going to keep all 4 wheels pointing in the right direction, and he's doing that. Can he go around the final corner? And the man himself opens DRS, sends it down towards the line. It looks as though it's going to be about a mid-19. It's a 19.699. Good luck there. Puts himself into the top 10 in 8th position. And finally, we have our reigning champion, Speedway Racer. Now, can he get himself up in towards the top end of the grid here? Because, of course, we've got Speed Quinn, Speed Newgarden, Speed Sully, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Can we see Yuri, who... And, well, he'll chastise me for this, should be retaining this championship. He's very, very quick indeed. He's stat padding by being down here on a Tuesday night. He's very competitive in the Cup race, and he's very competitive over in VSL on a Wednesday night indeed. So what can Yuri do? He's coming in towards the left-right flick, and he's going to go wide, and he was almost listening to me. He's thinking, I'm going to start from the back now that he said that. But here we go, Yuri. Gets it a little bit wrong. What can he do? How much time is he going to have lost? He's going to go deep again, just carrying a little bit too much speed, possibly trying to make up what he just lost. But, well, 2 more corners left to go for the reigning champion, and he just about manages to reach the apex of the penultimate corner in towards the final corner. The car wants to get away from you, but he luckily just manages to hold on to it up to the line. It's going to be in the 20s. It's going to be a 20.1. Not a great lap there. Lost a lot of time. You can imagine that he probably lost a second from that trip into the gravel trap on the exit of turn 10. So that is, by the looks of it, qualifying done and dusted. 15 cars involved tonight, and we're expecting a few more. We've got a couple of people missing out. We've got the likes of Leroy and Michelle will be missing out tonight. But Jake on pole position here for this one, and Jake, who was, I believe, the last time we were here, and I'm just going back through my notes once again. I've got several pages of notes, so they're all over the place. Got some on my laptop, got some in front of me. Jake, what did you do last time we were here? You won last time we were here. You finished. You started in P3 and finished on the top step of the podium, but you take pole position. It's Jake W. Combs on pole, the man from Barnsley with a 1:18.9.42, the only driver into the 18. Splinter in second position with Quinn in third. Newgarden round out an all-speed second row with Sully in fifth, Rageman sixth. Jess gets herself up into seventh with Jacko in eighth. Kingan and Lesty rounding out the top 10. Speedway Racer is the last one to have set a competitive time, and then Kaya, Bazza, Thomas are in 12th, 13th, 14th, and OKK, of course, did this and next lap invalidation. He will start from the back of the grid in 15th position. Of course, last time we were here, as I said, it was Jake that won the race ahead of Newgarden. So watch Newgarden on the Joker from 4th, and in P3 it was me, which is strange because I have no recollection of racing here in Kia at all last season. So shows how much my brain just goes to mush when it comes to league racing these days. However, well, before we go straight into the race, because we will go straight to the race, there'll be no formation lap due to the cold tyre bug, so I will quickly try and run you through some of the rules that we have here. So as I said, it's 2 mandatory stops these guys must do. If there is a safety car, there is a safety car zone that the lead driver must not go before reaching. That will be, I believe, and it is the rain that we are expecting, so this will play a big part in this one. So still 2 mandatory stops for those, apart from those that are on a Joker. And that will be Newgarden, Matry and Rageman. So plenty of drivers that have got an opportunity of perhaps changing up the strategy. Going to a 1-stop, of course. We don't know if it's going to maintain this weather all the way through. But probably not ideal. I would expect to see perhaps a few front wings on the side of the side of the road come the end of turn 1. And well, you've got to stay tuned for this one. My name is Gareth Hall. You're joining me in the commentary box here for the JACKOCAR Kia Series Season 4, Round 1. It's the first round of what is set to be a fantastic season here at JACKOCAR. We've got plenty of races coming up. Of course, they're all trying to get into the postseason, much like they do in NASCAR. It's a NASCAR F1 Hybrid League. They all want to get there. And, well, it is all about making up the points, trying to get that regular season championship, then picking up playoff points, which we will explain as and when we go. It's 20 points for a victory, 15 points for second, down to 15th position. And then... well, here we go. 3, 4, 5. Lights on. Lights off. Green lights go. And here we go, sending it down towards turn 1 at a relatively slow speed. It is a Brilliant start from Quinn. Sully and Newgarden's speed get up into the top 3 positions. Oh, there's a bang there, and there we go. Off to the side is Chaos, and into the wall. Is that the Pulse? It's Rageman. So Rageman into the wall already. Will we see a virtual safety car, as we've already got cars into the wall? We've already got plenty of wing damage, as Rageman's going to get it all wrong. Don't light up the tyres. You would have spun already. Keep it pointing in the right direction. Unfortunate for Rageman, starting from 6th position, but what do we see? Well, we've got Quinn, we've got Sully, we've got Jake, who's managed to get back up ahead of Newgarden. Was it Newgarden that came into contact with Jake? You could see someone came into contact. We'll double check. It looks as though we've got a couple of people with missing end plates. I'm just trying to see. It looks as though Kingan might be missing a front right end plate. There he is. So there, wing damage there for the Swedish driver. Newgarden looks as though he may have got away with it. So Newgarden looking alright. Yuri has made it somehow up into 6th position. So as I said, stat padding from Yuri, the reigning champion, already making his way up. As we've still got a full course yellow. I'm not 100% sure if it's a safety car or if a VSC, so I'm sure we will find out. Sure, it looks as though it's just a VSC. Can't see the safety car out on the mini map, so we will expect to go green. There we go, VSC finally on the lighting board that I've just been able to see. So we've been neutralised, and however, it is Quinn from Sully from Jake. So the pole sitter knocked down to 3 and into the box for a very early stop, because we're expecting, because it's the rain, I'd expect to see several in. However, there we go, we're now green again, so they may not make up as much time as they would have done if it had stayed yellow for a little bit longer. However, this is the smartest strategy you can do, is to make sure that you get that stop early, and of course they've only got one more to go. But out on the circuit, what have we got? We've got Thomas Nevitt chasing down Bazza, and Bazza who's just about managing to hold off Thomas, and Thomas of course will be running a couple of special liveries this season and a couple of charity liveries. We'll be raising money for charity later in or throughout the season, I believe, as well. So good to see from him. He's going to try and look at the inside of Bazza. Bazza not quite comfortable in these conditions, it seems. You can see the rain light on for all of them. However, Bazza might need it as almost like a brake light for him, because it looks as though Thomas has got the speed on him, but Bazza holding position. He's going to make Thomas go the long way around. There's going to be no grip out there, so he's going to have to tuck back in and think about it. He's going to lose a little bit of time here, is Thomas, but it looks as though he has got the pace on Bazza as and when we have a change. But it looks as though Rageman has spun, and we've got another pause and another neutralisation. We'll find out what is it. It is another front wing gone. That's 2 in exactly the same corners, and that's a second VSC in consecutive laps already. We are back here at Kia Series for JACKOCAR Season 4, Round 1 of the season. It's Speed Sully from Jake, from Speed Newgarden 1, 2, 3. My name is Gareth Hall, bringing you the commentary for this one. Make sure if you're in the comments, say hello. Great to see you. Good to see Matt and Leroy in there as well, as well, another VSC, and we'll see if this does bring in, it does indeed bring in several more drivers into the box trying to make their stops. Now, as I look down at my notes here, I'm trying to keep an eye on who's making mandatory stops. I believe these are all mandatories. Of course, they are all under green flag conditions, and VSC, and that was very close indeed for Quinn getting past Sully, banging wheels of his teammate. As here we go, here comes Jake's going to try and go the long way around. What can he do here? And behind him we've got Yuri watching the pair of them, so Yuri's got to be very careful. Very nicely done there from Jake, keeping it tidy. He's going to lose the back end a little bit there, and this is still going to go side by side. Now this is brave. Yuri's going to have to think about it. Jake's gone wide, and he's going to lose a position to Yuri, so good move there from Yuri, just making sure that he didn't put his nose where it didn't need to be. But these guys still fighting over position. They're fighting down over 6th position. In fact, what we'll do is we'll go up to the top of the field. We'll go up to T Never, we'll go to Thomas and to Matt, as the pair of them are fighting over the lead. 6/10 of a second split them. Kaya is up in 3rd position, and I will double check, as I believe Kaya will not have made a stop. He hasn't. So the top 4 yet to make a stop. Quinn only 2.3 seconds behind OKK. So you'd think that these guys that have already made the stop have definitely put themselves on the right strategy. But of course, the strategy can all go out the window when it comes to wet weather racing. So here we go. Fastest lap of the race, the 32.2. Expect that to go down as everyone gets more acclimatised to the feel of the circuit. The car will roll about, it will move. And does it move enough for Thomas to go down the inside? Is Newgarden? Oh, he didn't commit there. That was a full send. I'm sure he could have thought about it, but Thomas deciding to live to fight for another day there. And Newgarden, well, maybe he'll look to protect that because, well, maybe a hungrier racer that was thinking a little bit more short term would have sent it there, but Thomas, thinking long term, and Rageman has unfortunately made this 3 crashes in 3 laps, and I believe that is our first safety car of the day, and that's a big one there. He's lost it on through the kink, very easy to do. Safety car comes out for this one, so any stops made under the safety car will not be counted as a mandatory stop. However, you can come in. You never, used to not be able to come in, but you can come in now, as Kaya has retired on the straight as well. Has he? Surely he's collected Rageman's car. So Kaya, who was running up very nicely in the top 4, unfortunately is retired in exactly the same position under the safety car. So not a great way for Kaya to start the season, and that makes 2 retirements in the opening 4 laps of the race. Safety car is out. And, well, that's going to have helped the likes of Leslie and Matt in 13th position. He can now catch up to the back of the pack. However, what it hasn't helped is Newgarden. Newgarden, of course, is on his joker, so he'll only be stopping once in this race. Has now seen that huge, well, I say huge, 12-second advantage that he had over everyone else that had stopped will now become nothing. So, not ideal if you're Newgarden. And not ideal if you're looking at picking up a decent result here, because it will, of course, just bunch everyone back up and give the likes of Quinn and Jake and Yuri, who are looking very quick tonight, the opportunity of catching up and putting themselves on effectively the same strategy now. They've all got one more stop left to make. So, well, this one looks as though it is going in the favour of Quinn, Jake and Yuri. However, let's not count anything out. We know Newgarden is decent around here. He tends to favour, I believe, Australia for his joker as well. So not suggesting that he's going to let anyone by and just roll over and let it happen. Even if they're speed teammates, I'm expecting Newgarden to be fighting for it, just as he has done throughout the rest of the seasons here at JACKOCAR and over at VSL. But well, what else have we got coming up this week? If you tune in and if you subscribe, which of course you should do, if you're not already, make sure you press that red box down below, and a like on the video would be nice. In fact, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a standard. I'd like to see everyone that has watched this video press the like button. Of course, more likes means more exposure. The more likes you get, the more you're likely to get videos recommended on other people's videos, especially live streams. So if we can get 10 likes on this video, that would be mega, and I would very much appreciate that. So make sure you go down, press that big thumbs up, and well, I'd be very much appreciated. But however, let's get back to the action. We do have Newgarden from Thomas Nevitt from OKK up in 3rd position. Quinn, Jake, Yuri, Sully, Bazza, Jacko and Kingan. Your top 10 was Splinter, having fallen down the order. Jess down in 12th position as well. She must have had an issue, as into the box comes OKK. So OKK deciding to box under the safety car for a non-mandatory stop. And well, so I'm just looking over that's probably where my voice just pinged over to the left hand side there. But OKK with a non-mandatory, everyone else has gone for one, so he's decided to put on a fresh set of boots. Maybe is there a front wing change for OKK? I will have to see if he's already back out on circuit. I believe he will be. Well, I'm sure. Actually, OKK, I have already said in Cup, I think he's got the nicest livery out of everyone so far. I really like the mesh of colours that he is using. And, however, well, race neutralised. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where I like it, so I'm just a little bit lost for words. I'm looking through my notes, but you're going to have to bear with me, as this is where the strategy really comes into play. Because if you're Newgarden, you know that you've only got one stop to make, but equally if you're Quinn, you know that you stopped on lap 1, so your tyres will be fresher than Newgarden's, even though that's 3 or 4 laps or so. That doesn't make much difference, because that really does help when they start to fall off the cliff, which will be around about the midpoint of the race. So when Newgarden is thinking about making that stop, that is when I'm expecting to see the likes of Quinn, Jake, Yuri start to really push on. Safety car in this lap. The Aston Martin safety car lights are out. No chaos like we saw in Italy. Well, apart from the cars, as they're all starting to filter into position. Here we go. And, well, there it is, as I said, a designated zone where Newgarden will be allowed to get going. You can't just gun as soon as the safety car disappears up the road. So we will stay on board with Newgarden, make sure he gets it all right. Not that I'm trying to snitch, of course, but of course we like to make sure everyone's playing fair. But here we go. Restart ready. And the field probably want to bunch up a little bit more than they are. There's still 1.3, 1.2, 1.1 second gaps. Now, on board with Newgarden, he is looking for that advertising hoarding there with the logo on it. And he's going to go any time after that. Will he wait for a while? Will he go straight away? He's waiting, and off he goes. So it's a good restart there. Will he catch out the rest of the field? You can see everyone's fanning out, trying to find some fresh tarmac. And into turn one, it looks as though we've got side by side between Quinn and Jake has lost out there. And in fact, Yuri is going to get a massive run, 2 wheels on the grass, which is not what you do at all when it comes to wet weather conditions. And he's going to try and hang it around the inside. Jake is going to hold on to the outside line. Yuri is going to get tangled up with his teammate Quinn, and Quinn's going to have to take to the inside line. These two will be in a party. They'll be letting each other know. There's a little bit of a bump draft there as Yuri tried to give the hurry up there to Quinn. Does Quinn let him go? It looks as though he's going to maybe just hold the inside line, and Yuri's going to get away with it. But there's a change for the lead as Thomas Nevitt makes it his way up past Newgarden for the lead of this race, and he can now spread out. There's a 3-way fight. This is not what you want at all. 3 wide. This is going to end in tears surely as the guys go 3 wide down the back straight. It's now gone 2, and well, it's Jake that's gone into the rear position, but he's going to try and go down the inside. Will he tag the inside? No, he does very nicely indeed as the 3 of them somehow make it out of that unscathed. But Yuri now once again well, Yuri, it's not rallycross. You need to keep it on the black stuff, but he's deciding to go all-weather tyres and chasing. Well, I suppose they have got grooves, so they will grip on the tyre a little bit more. But Yuri really being made to work hard by Quinn. Quinn in 3rd position, Yuri in 4th position. Let's go down as Thomas Nevitt is now starting to really push out a 1.6 second advantage. He's really rapid on this restart, as we can see up at the front. Yuri is now making the move on Quinn, and instead he comes alongside and pulls back. So will we see the 2 speed boys working together as they're now following Newgarden? Go on, Yuri all out of shape. They're having to get off the throttle, and well, that's not what he wants at all. It's going to open the door for perhaps Jake to come back in. Jake will be sitting there thinking, if these two are going to keep fighting with each other, I'm just going to bide my time and wait until they tangle with each other. But he can see behind them that was Lesty going around the outside of Bazza. Jacko's trying to get involved in that. Lesty equally taking the scenic route to downtown Melbourne, and just about holds on to the position. But definitely a scrappy start to this one. 8 of 29 here, JACKOCAR first round of the season at Kia Series. And we're in Australia, Albert Park. My name is Gareth Hall. You can find me over on Twitter at GT2_driving if you'd like to follow my ramblings over there. Of course, you can find out more about the league by going to @JACKOCAR and @JACKOCAR2, where you can find out more about getting involved in JACKOCAR, what we do, and more about the nuances of this league, which have been definitely intriguing to those. Everyone that tunes in is always interested to see how we manage to make this hybrid league, this mix of Formula 1 and of NASCAR, as we see Jake and Yuri still fighting over position. I will try and get on board with the likes of OKK and Splinter in a second, who are still fighting out of position, but it looks as though Quinn's managed to break away 1.1. Yuri having a little bit of a scruffy restart, and that's going to open the door now for Jake. Now what's he going to do? He's on battery, now he's off. Now of course in the wet you recover battery a lot quicker, so you can really burn it. So it looks as though, however, the rain has stopped. So are we going back to dry? A drying line is starting to form. You can see the tyre marks in the on the racing line, as Jake's got a lot more feeling on the brakes as he goes down towards the braking zone at Sports Centre, and he's looking as though he's a lot more comfortable on these corners compared to what Yuri is. As I say that, he loses the back end and loses a little bit of time to Yuri, but you can see out of the front, Thomas Nevitt has absolutely blitzed his way up as Jake on battery around the kink. That was brave. 4.4 seconds is the lead now to Newgarden. Newgarden just can't do anything about it, so Team Nevitt really making the most of these intermediate conditions as Yuri almost gets into the back. And here we go, here's the feathering of the throttle as these guys fighting out over position. Jake has got the run on Yuri here, and Yuri's going to hold the inside line, make Jake go the long way round. He's going to get on the grass, and that's not going to help with and he's going to get on the painted curb as well. You're not going to find any grip out there. And here we go, still fighting over position, these two, and this is where you've just got to commit to a move, but Jake deciding to hold back and using the rear wing as effectively as a reticle to send it. But you can see Yuri putting his car in all the right places. Jake unable to get it right, as it looks as though JACKOCAR going very wide on the exit just as we went on board, and he's going to fight. And does he? In fact, he pulls to the inside line and slows down. So JACKOCAR possibly getting a penalty there for overtaking off track. So as we'll go back to the battle up here, so we'll try and stick with this one. We've got Quinn, Yuri, Jake, and now Lesty getting himself in this one. So Matt in 6th position, really starting to impose himself in what has been effectively Quinn catching Newgarden, and Newgarden really starting to bridge everyone together and cause a little bit of a train. So Newgarden, of course, will only be stopping once. He's done 9 laps. So as Team Nevitt. They're both into the wall, and that's it. Out of the race goes Quinn. He's going to come right into the middle of the race, and it was going to happen. Someone was going to collect him, and unfortunately, it looks as though, who is it that collected him? Was it Bazza? I believe it was, and a 5-second penalty comes up as well for Bazza. That's so unfortunate. Quinn just getting out, getting it wrong, getting the kink, and straight into the wall and straight into the path of Bazza. Nothing he could do about that, and that brings out the second safety car of the race. Bazza can go and serve that penalty now. A new front wing will cycle him to the back. However, he's probably a bit of a lucky boy to get away with that, and but that is unfortunately the end of Quinn's race. It was looking so promising, but it's so easy to get it wrong, especially in conditions that are starting to dry up. And unfortunately for Quinn, it is a first retirement on the season. Yuri into the box to make a stop now. Do we see a stop for the dry tyres? It is indeed. So brave move there from Yuri. A new front wing on him as well. So he's decided that the conditions are going to change under the safety car. Can he get the jump on everyone? Now this is where an outlap is going to be very, very tricky indeed. Getting those tyres up to any sort of working condition where they're in a temperature window. So we'll stick on board with Yuri, and we'll let you know, because it's looking very slick indeed. Now he's going to want to keep it off pretty much everything that isn't black and black and white here. So any of these yellow painted lines, any curbs, are not going to be very friendly at all. You can see really struggling to get it turned in. Benefit for Yuri here, as Bazza has done the same onto the medium tyres. The benefit here is, of course, the safety car will be out for at least 2, if not 3 laps. So it will allow him to catch up, and it will allow him to get into a position where the track may start to come back towards him. We've seen this in various other leagues. We've seen it in VSL and on a Wednesday night, and it's somewhere that these guys do have the opportunity of really, changing up the strategy, making everyone else think about what they're doing, because of course now he's starting to catch up. Everyone has caught the back of the pack, so everyone has caught the safety car. Yuri's going to be on pretty much going to just be off the back of them come the end of this lap. Do we see anyone else dive into the box? Of course, we've got Tom and we've got Newgarden yet to make a stop. Do they come in under the safety car and go on to a set of dries? No, they're staying out, so they're not satisfied that it is dry conditions just yet. We are still, of course, under the safety car, expecting to be on it for another lap or so after the crash of Speed Quinn into the wall on the exit of turn 9. And unfortunately, that was on turn 8. Sorry, and that was his race done, and his car, well, wheelless, unfortunately, then into the path of F1 Bazza 86, as Jake has to really check up his braking there as he almost runs into the back of Newgarden, which, one thing I've never quite worked out with people under the safety car, you don't need to be that close to the person in front of you. You can go to the side of them, or you can hang back a little bit, unless it's coming in. just get out of them areas a little bit, just to give everyone a little bit of space. Warm your tyres as much as you can do, and then as soon as the safety car says it's coming in, that's when you start to form up, just to make sure that you don't collect anyone if they decide to. Of course, these guys need to keep their tyres warm, but they also need to keep their brakes warm, especially in these conditions. You need to have brake temperature going down towards turn 1. And it is a race where, well, we saw in Cup there is a little bit of a race of attrition. And of course you can catch Cup on Thursday, the Cup Series, the top tier here at JACKOCAR, with Jacko and Owen, hopefully Owen, in the commentary box over on Thursday evening, where of course they will be back and I believe racing at Silverstone. So it is set to be a race at home for several of the drivers. And well, that's going to be a cracker. Silverstone always is. We've had some fantastic races at Silverstone and JACKOCAR over the last few seasons, and I'm sure it is set to be another one this season coming. So I believe we're going to be under the safety car for another lap. I'm just going to double check. I haven't seen the notes comment yet. There we go. So the light's still on the safety car, so we will be doing at least another lap, and that will allow Bazza to close up. It looks as though Bazza may have had a spin under the safety car. He's dropped down to 24 seconds. So what do we mean by different points here in JACKOCAR? Well, in JACKOCAR, as I said, it is a hybrid F1 and NASCAR league. So everyone is aiming to get through the regular season. The regular season is a set of races before we get to a playoff section. So the playoffs will be a final 5 races and then an all-important championship 5. So only 5 people can qualify. It'll be the 4 top finishers in the championship and 1 lucky loser coming from what is called the chase. The chase is all of those that didn't manage to make it into the playoffs. The cut-off playoffs comes at the end of the regular season. So the regular season will be Australia as we are now. Next week we'll be over at Paul Ricard, then Zandvoort, Spa, Monte Carlo, Jeddah, Austin, and the last round of the regular season, Spielberg. Then we have 4 races. Those will be fighting in the chase, trying to get into the Championship 5. We'll be racing at Monza, San Marino, Yas Marina and Interlagos. And we head over to Miami for the Championship 5, where only 1 of 5 people will be able to win the championship, as though KK's come into the box and set the soft tyres on. So soft tyres, they're going to have to take quite a while, because the conditions are still quite wet, it's still quite slick. And well, he's going to take a little bit of life out of them as Thomas decides to really back it off early. But we will be going green again off this one, lap 13 of 29, so we're not even halfway through this one, and it feels like we've been here for about an hour or so. It's a lot has gone on. I've tried to keep on top of it, and hopefully you've all enjoyed it. But well, plenty of racing left to come, and yeah, my name is Gareth Hall, bringing you the rest of this race. We're about to go on lap 14 of 29. We're about to have our second safety car restart. It'll be Thomas Nevitt leading us away this time. It was Newgarden last time around, but T. Nevitt had absolutely mega pace on these intermediates. What can he do as the track starts to dry? Of course, we say, as usual, you cannot restart until you get to the restart zone, which is this advertising hoarding, the F1 2022 one you see just here. Will he go before or after? He's waiting, and there we go. It's a good restart from Team Nevitt. What can we see from Newgarden, from Jake, and from Lesty, who's made a really good restart in 4th position. As Jake goes slightly wide, he's going to get a little bit of a slide, and that's going to open the door for those behind. But you can see he's going to get a run here on Newgarden, but Newgarden clearly using a little bit of battery, Jake using battery as well, as they're all trying to hold off, as we've got a yellow. It looks as though that might be Yuri, as we had a yellow out briefly. Car going wide, those are on dry tyres. It may just be a little bit too early. Oh, as Leslie goes wide, just about manages to keep it out of the wall, and that's going to drop him down a couple of positions. Promotes Splinter and Sully up into 5th and 6th place. But here we go, T. Nevitt already breaking away from Newgarden, who's under threat from Jake. Jake is looking quite comfortable, and he's going to get down the inside. Newgarden's going to try and cut him off. He's going to go the long way around. He's going to have to go around the outside. Who gives up quarter? It doesn't need to be, because there you go. Already, lovely move there from Jake. Jake moves up into 2nd position, gets out onto the curb, so does Newgarden, and what I'm quite impressed with, actually, is that no one's picked up any penalties so far, apart from Bazza's unfortunate 5 seconds for collecting Splinter, is that no one's managed to go wide. So everyone keeping it within the back stuff and doing a very nice job of it indeed. So we'll check in and find out who else is Lesty. He's going to be trying to make up some positions after losing it at the Sports Centre corner and Hellas corner at turn 4. He's now closing in on what looks like Sully and Splinter as T Nevitt once again breaking away. 2 seconds already on the safety car restart. Fantastic restart from him. Kingan's making a move on Jess in towards turn 1. Does she allow him the space? She does indeed. And Kingan on the gas a little bit earlier than Jess, and he can make up the position. Jess, of course, picked up a couple of podiums last season. She's hoping to get into the Championship 5 this time around. One thing that I've always noticed with Jess is that she's just too fair. That's my one criticism of Jess. She's far too fair. Sometimes I've been telling her for ages, you've got to get your elbows out here in league racing. You can't let people have it and think about the long game. Sometimes if you want to win and if you want to get up into podiums, you need to close off the door. You need to make sure that you're not a pushover. And that was too easy there for Kingan to get down the inside. And Jess here now with OKK warming over the back of her. He's going to look at thinking about making a move. Kingan is now closing in on Sully, so Kingan wanted to make 2 moves in 1 lap, and Newgarden is now behind Jacko, so Jacko making a good restart as well, up to 3rd position as OKK taking a tighter line through the exit of the sweeper at through Hill Corner, and he's going to try and go around the outside. Jess holding the inside line. In fact, there's a little bit of contact between the pair of them. It looks as though KK was just carrying a little bit too much overspeed and ran into the back, but may have got away with it. Of course, simulation damage here on JACKOCAR in all races, and into the box, I believe it is Newgarden. So Newgarden making his one and only stop. So interesting. There we go. Stops for the leaders, and Newgarden's going to get paused. He's going to get held, and that's not going to help him at all. But he's going to make that stop off onto mediums, and that is his one mandatory stop done. And I believe T Nevitt may have done the same. So onto the softs goes Thomas. So good move there, and he's really putting himself in the shout for this victory because, well, it hasn't gone right for those that jumped early. Look at Bazza, look at Yuri. Down in, and Yuri's gone on to hard tyres, so I'm not quite sure what strategy choice that was there from Yuri. Clearly used up the softs and the mediums. He was on mediums. He looks as though he's coming for a set of hards, and it's not paid off for him. But back on board, back on track, and now this is Bambi on ice for everyone. If you'd like to see a show this winter, it's going to be Kia Series trying to navigate their way around a drying circuit on the I say drying circuit. It's still very greasy. You can see the wet patches around. You cannot go full throttle around here. You have to really make sure you're being careful. And Sully just using his battery to try and hold on to the back of Kingan, but Kingan's starting to stretch his legs a little bit. Newgarden now closing in on the back of Sully, so the pair of them have swapped positions. Newgarden's really kind of lost out in the pit lane strategy, because you can see that he's really fallen off the back of like T Nevitt is well up the road from him now. So Newgarden, who was only a couple of seconds behind, is now found himself down the order as OKK go fast as a 127.697. OKK leading this race on the right tyres as well, so I thought that being on the softs would hinder him. However, what do we see from OKK? He's out there on the soft tyres that are, let's have a look, 4 laps old. So yeah, not bad actually from OKK. If he can stretch these tyres out, then he is in good stead for perhaps picking up his first win in what feels like, and I'm sure Jacko will be able to put it into the onto Twitter or to whatnot all over the Discord later, what feels like forever the last time that OKK won a race. T Nevitt in second position, Jake on the medium, so everyone else bar the top 2 onto the mediums, which seems like the smarter choice. Of course, a little bit more durable. There is still 13 laps left to go, so It's a tricky call. It's a very brave call from OKK. It's a brave call from T Nevitt as well, leading the race comfortably. What does he do when those tyres start to go off? As Lesty is now being hounded by Speed Sully. Splinter and King have changed positions, so King are making some moves now that he's got those wet weather tyres off, and he can now focus on the dry. Yeah, we are now all but pretty much in completely dry conditions, so this might be where you start to see the cars push a little bit more. and start to see. Sorry, I've just realised I was on board with people for far too long there. I don't like to be on board for too long. I was purely focusing on everything that was going on with the leaderboard. So here we go. We're going to go back to broadcast mode, and that does irritate me intensely when someone sits in TCAM for too long. But T Nevitt with a 1:25.539 is your fastest lap of the race. Of course, into the box, however, comes OKK. So he's only done a few laps on those tyres, and he's decided to go on to set mediums now. So OKK comes out, and well, the pendulum swings once again, so it's gone back down to T Nevitt. So Thomas now leading this race, 6.6 seconds to Jake. OKK, however, coming out in third position, so really benefiting from the undercut as Jacko goes down the inside and holding on to position with Kingan. So these two battling over position. In fact, we'll stay with Kingan for a little bit, as it looks as though he's starting to put the pressure on Jacko. But you can see the Swedish driver sporting the Swedish blue and yellow helmet, pushing, and they're going to try and close in on OKK. They're not far off, of course, OKK in the tyre warm-up phase, so this is where Jacko and Kingan need to strike, and Splinter not far off as well, 1.4 seconds, and equally he's got Lesty and Speed Sully behind Newgarden, and is really struggling. 2 seconds now he's dropped off the back of Sully. He's really not enjoying this dry strategy. Perhaps the setup was more for the rain. Weren't they expecting the rain to last a little bit longer? We will have to find out post-race. I'm sure it will all be over Twitter. And of course you can find out all about that by going to @JACKOCAR2 on Twitter. DRS is now enabled for those that within the 1 second window. That will be Jacko, that will be Kingan, that will be Lesty, that will be Sully, for those that can use, of course, that extra boost in speed as they power down the main straight. Of course, just take a little bit of drag off as weaving his way down the straight goes OKK. I'm not quite sure you can do that with a car that close to you, but we'll find out. But Jacko now into the wheel tracks of OKK. So what can OKK do? He's got fresher tyres compared to Jacko, only by 1 lap. However, Jacko really pushing. Does he go down the inside? He's thinking about it. OKK leaves the door wide open. Jacko thinks about coming through it, and he's going to have to go the long way round. And OKK, 3 seconds, he's the first one to pick up a penalty, and in fact he's going to lose 2 places for his troubles there. So scruffy 2 corners from OKK, loses himself 2 positions and picks up 3 seconds, which is going to drop him down, currently down into 9th position. But that does promote Jack up now up onto a podium, being chased by Kingan. So Isaac Ellimer in 4th place, chasing down Jack Ricketts in 3rd. Jake W. Combs is sitting around about 6 seconds behind Thomas Nevitt. Thomas, of course, on the soft tyres. He's going to need to make the most of these softs whilst they're still working. Of course, they will go off a lot quicker than the mediums. We've got OKK, Lesty, Speed Sully, Spinter, Newgarden, Jess rounding up top 10, Bazza and Speedway Racer Yuri, reigning champion, not happy and hasn't gone their way. Came in too early for the soft tyres, and unfortunately down at the back of the grid, and it's going to go wide, and that's going to be contact between Kingan and I believe that was Lesty. So contact between the pair of them. Was that wing damage for either one of them? That's opened the door for Sully, so Sully's going to get a run. Bazza picks up 3 seconds, so the penalties is going to start to flow now as everyone starts to push around these corners a little bit more. And Kingan just got on the grass. Of course, it's magic. It's Codemasters grass, so it'll be completely dry now, even though it shouldn't be. But you can see spun the tyres up, and unfortunately pitched it into the left-hand corner of Leslie the Twig's car. However, it looks as though they both got away with it. Yeah, front end plate's still there, so the guys have just about managed to get away with it. So Kingan's going to have to go back, and he's going to have to re-overtake everyone he's already overtaken. So frustrating for him, but if you're the likes of Splinter, if you're the likes of Newgarden, who's now starting to close back in, so are those tyres starting to bed in? Is he starting to perhaps get a little bit more confidence in braking points? Of course, when you go from a wet to a dry session, it's very difficult to really readjust your braking points, readjust your turn-in points, because they do change from lap to lap as the rain comes down, equally as the rain stopping, and as it goes dry, you basically change your complete driving style, your braking points, and how you move the car around the circuit. Into the box, however, comes Thomas Nevitt, so he's decided, and speeding in the pit lane days. That's a killer for him. That's going to be 5 seconds added to the end of his race, and that's going to promote Jake now up into the lead of this one. And well, look at the gap now. You've got to say that surely surely it is Jake's to lose. The winner here last season. Looks as though he's going to be winner here this time around if he can keep it on the black stuff. As OKK is going to go wide, gets a little bit out of shape as he tries to chase down Jacko. That's going to relieve the pressure a little bit on Jack Ricketts in second position. Jacko will be very happy indeed if he can take home a second position. OKK over 3 seconds. Of course, Thomas Nevitt now another set of the softs. So he will be quick, however, 5-second penalties hanging over his head. Looks as though no one is catching that 10.8 second window that Jake's got out in front. A fantastic run so far, once again for Jake Warrior, and the man from Barnsley, who probably should have been more involved in the championship hunt throughout the last few seasons. Maybe hasn't gone the way that he wanted, and the Championship 5 fell away from him last season. This time around, will he be able to have a more sustained push throughout the regular season as OKK makes it another penalty? And in fact, I believe that was probably another warning there. So really, really pushing is OKK, and all he's going to do now is find himself falling down the order, because he's going to possibly, if he starts racking up penalties now, find himself maybe even down outside the top 10. So not ideal for OKK, but fighting down now, we've got Splinter, King and Newgarden and Jess. And as I said earlier, Jess, she just keeps she keeps herself clean, she keeps herself out of trouble, and she's on the back of this pack, and this is in the fight for what is effectively what, P4, P5, depending on what the penalties look like for OKK and T Nevitt at the end of this race. So interesting to see what these guys do. Jess getting close to Newgarden and really starting to put the pressure on. And well, what can she do? Of course, commentator extraordinaire Jess Gamer and Jess Ball here sends it. Oh, doesn't think about it. She stayed and hung it around the outside. Possibly could have darted to the inside there and thought about a move, but decides against it, and she's going to have to wait and perhaps wait for the DRS straight heading down towards the third sector. So Jess with a little bit of work to do. We've got yellow in sector 1. It looks as though that's Lesty, and Lesty's gone around, got on the exit of the Sports or Hellas Sports Centre curb, and looks as though he's gone around. So dropping to the back of the order, that's going to promote Baza and Yuri up into the top 10 and 11th position. Another yellow. There we go. Burnt tyres there for Lesty. It's frustrating. This is where you just need to take care of them. Points for everyone at this position, so no one need retire. This is where you just need to keep your head, keep it cool, keep it calm, and keep going. So yeah, it's very, very difficult indeed to make sure that this all goes right and goes to plan. So Jake Warrior leads from Jacko, from OKK, from Thomas, from Splinter, as Kingan picks up 3 seconds there. So Kingan with a little bit of work to do. Newgarden, Jess Gamer, Speed, Sully and Bazza as Team Everett now fastest lap of the race of a 21. That's comfortably faster than anyone else, and he's going to cruise up to the back as we've got a yellow. And is that our leader? It is indeed. It's Jake who's gone around with no wing. Unbelievable here from Jake here. Oh, you've got to feel for him. It was all going to plan, and it's all fallen apart so quickly. No front wing, and in fact he's all in the way of Thomas Nevitt now. Thomas is going to have to get past him, and that has opened up the door for effectively Jacko now. Jacko could potentially win this race if he keeps it on circuits. Lesty picks up 3 seconds, so the penalties have started to rack up as Jake sees himself overtaken. In fact, he's still racing Thomas Nevitt there, I thought. But this is where, of course, the game loves it, that when you've got no wing, you actually become a rocket ship in a straight line. So OKK is now going to close in, and he's sitting on a couple of penalties, but Jacko, well, if he plays this smart, he doesn't need to fight too much against OKK, because he knows that OKK's got a number of penalties. Well, he's got 6 seconds. Thomas Nevitt's got 5 seconds down to his name, speeding in the pit lane, so it won't be removed. And well, Thomas Nevitt, he's got work to do here, because he can make up 5 seconds. He's on the soft tyres, but he's got to find his way past OKK as Jake picks up 5 seconds, speeding in the pit lane as well. Frustration boiling over for what was the race leader. And you've got to feel for Jake. It was all going to plan, and so late in the race, 23, just 5 laps left to go. As I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Thomas Levitt out of this race, the only man that could potentially have won it, has now found himself in the wall on the exit of turn 2. And do we have a safety car? We do. We have a late safety car here in JACKOCAR that's going to take us most likely all the way up to lap 25, 26 or 27. wow, means it is all falling into place for those that are sitting on no penalties. The likes of Jacko, Splinter, Newgard and Jess is in with a shout of a podium. This is a disaster for OKK and for Kingen. And Thomas, there it was a decent run for me. He was having absolutely mega pace in the wet. Came to the dry, just pushing too hard, did those softs give up a little bit too easy. And unfortunately for him, just like we saw from Jake, into the wall and out of this one. But that is maybe a reprisal for Jake. So do we see the man who was leading the race has clearly got a lot of pace tonight. He does he get a little bit of a chance of redemption? Can he send it back at the end? But you've got to feel there for T Never. He was really pushing, was working really nicely. He had a solid lead. That second stop, and unfortunately in the wall in the exit of turn 2. And curtains for this race and this round. He's going to go home with 0 points and disappointed. I see him in the comments, and you've got to feel for him. A shocking bit of luck there, and really unfortunate. Well, time to go again, and what do we see into the box? I'm sure this is going to be Jake serving his 5-second penalty that he picked up for speeding in the pit lane onto a new set of softs. But however, the man following the Aston Martin safety car is Jack Ricketts, and Jacko is staring down the barrel of an opening race victory, which I'm sure he wasn't expecting at all at the start of this evening. Newgarden, the man on his Joker, in 4th position, is currently in a net 2nd when the penalties for the KK on and Kingen are taken into account come the end of this race. So of course Newgarden on his Joker, so if he wins he gets bonus playoff points that he will be able to use in the postseason. Of course, as I was saying, the postseason will come at the end of the regular season, which we run here at JACKOCAR. These guys running through a regular season of 7 races, I believe, 8 races, sorry. Albert Park, Paul Ricard, Zandvoort, Spa, Monte Carlo, Jeddah, Austrian and Spielberg. And of course into the postseason, where the top 4 will go towards the Championship 5, and the lucky loser, the driver that didn't finish in the playoff section, so underneath the cutoff, will go into the chase. And the chase winner will go into the Championship 5. We've seen a chase winner win the Cup Series last season, as we saw Jake win that one as well. So it can be done. We've seen it in Kia a few seasons ago that the chase champion can win. So as Niels ended up winning in Portugal in season 2, I believe it was, in Kia. So it can go down to the last race. But these guys are all looking at picking up playoff points. Of course, you'll get some playoff points for finishing on the podium. 3, 2, 1 for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Of course, 5 bonus points if Newgarden was to win the race. So those all get added to your tally in the postseason for those wanting to make the Championship 5. So what can we see from Newgarden? Will he go on a push come the end of this one? And what we'll do is we'll just check in on the tyres. Splinter, Jess and Yuri. Now, have they got time on those fresh softs to make some moves on the guys in front? The mediums, of course, will still well be in the tyre window, as long as they've kept them up to temperature. But Splinter, Jess, Yuri are looking as though they are in the hot seat for this one. You've got to think they're in the hot seat for this one. Jake as well, down in 10th position. He's got a little bit of work to do. He's got a lot of overtaking to do, but definitely can't count out a podium from Jake W. Comms, who will be, I'm sure, absolutely fuming with himself after losing it in the lead. And he was leading by a comfortable margin over everyone else. Safety car in this lap. And, well, this is going to be fascinating, isn't it? Jacko we'll see if he can restart correctly. He's decided not to dive in for a set of softs. He's going to brave it out on the mediums, and he's going to make everyone wait. Does he sweat OKK and leave it until the last second? Will he jump early as soon as they get to the advertising hoarding on the main straight? We are set for a mega final 3-lap dash to the flag. It will be lap 27, 28 and 29, and that will finish us off for the first round of the season here at the JACKOCAR Kia Series with myself, Gareth Hall, in the commentary box. And hopefully you've all enjoyed it, guys. If you have indeed, make sure you drop it into the comments. Great to always hear from you, great to see you, and make sure you drop a like on the video as well. Always very much appreciated to push these guys, push this league. And of course, make sure you do all the good stuff you do on social media, retweeting, liking, all the good stuff whenever you see a JACKOCAR post coming out. Now, what can we see from Jacko? He's going to be leading this one away for a 3-lap sprint to the finish. We're fanning out here. We're almost going 2x2 IndyCar style. There's Jacko waiting. Is he going to drag this out to the line? Not give OKK any chance. He's weaving side to side. You've got to think he's going to be waiting until the last second. He does want to give it, and there we go. Guns are blazing, and into the wall. OKK out of the race. I cannot believe it. Straight away, gun the throttle straight into the wall. OKK out of this one. Lap 27 of 29. Absolute disaster for OKK. Just lit the tyres up into the wall. Luckily, no one else managed to pitch into him. So that is going to open up the door for Newgarden. Newgarden should be on the charge now. The man on his Joker will be looking at making up some moves. He's potentially still in the hunt for this victory, but Jacko streaking away, already made up a second on everyone else. Speed Sully, Splinter, Bazza, Jess has dropped positions. Yuri's making up some moves. We've got another car in the wall. It's Bazza in the wall. We're losing cars all over the place in the last stages of this race. Everyone fighting over position. Bazza falling away. These guys are just dropping points needlessly now. This is points you desperately need come the end of the regular season, and unfortunately for Bazza in the wall on lap 27 to 29. We've got a local yellow. We're not going to go for a safety car at all, and well, we've got an absolute shock here. KK and Bazza on this lap have fallen away. Now, what do we see from Splinter? Splinter is now the beneficiary of this. He's got the freshest tyres on anyone else on the grid. And you can see Jacko leading all by 1.7 seconds. We're going to go on to the penultimate lap of this one. Oh, you can see Kingan and Newgarden fighting over position. That is not Jacko in the wall. It's Jacko in the wall. We've got 2 cars in the wall. We've got Jacko and Sully that have gone into the wall. So the leader, once again for the 3rd time in this race, has dropped off the position and dropped out of the lead. That's Kingan from Newgarden. That means Newgarden, with 2 laps left to go, is on position to win his Joker. 5 bonus points in the championship could be massive for Newgarden, but Splinter all over the back of him. Splinter is hunting this down. He's got the tyre advantage on Newgarden. Newgarden is going to be absolutely shaking in his boots, seeing how fast Splinter is. And we've got a Jake as well has lost it. So Jake is down at the back of the field as well. So Jake has fallen off the back of this. Sully, Jacko, it is absolute pandemonium at the end of this first Kia race of the season. Yellow in sector 3. We've got a slow car. And here we go down the inside. Who's that? It's Yuri. Yuri going for the move on Splinter. Gets it done as Splinter. Oh, Yuri goes around. So what is happening? Yuri goes around. He's going to pull right back into traffic. So that's going to promote Splinter back up into 2nd position. As we can see a car getting out of the way there, going a lap down. And oh my word, we're about to go on to the final lap of the race. It's going to be Splinter from Jess. Jess is now in position for a P2, and she's now got Lesty behind her. Yuri, after spinning out of what it was surely going to be a potential victory there, because Newgarden on his Joker crashing out, Yuri crashing out, Jacko crashing out, Jake crashing out. It is all gone wrong. We're on to the final lap of this one. I'm trying not to shout because my poor neighbours, but I'm desperately trying to keep my voice to a relevant level, because Splinter is about to win this race and this is a big if here, because everyone that we've seen so far has not been able to make it around the circuit without pointing in the right direction. Splinter from Jess, from Lesty, from Yuri, but Yuri looks as though he's going to finish off the podium behind Lesty. So Matt Lester on his debut is looking as though he's picking up a podium. Kingan leading, however, so it will be Kingan with that penalty sitting there. So we'll see what it is for Kingan. It's 3 seconds, so is it enough? Currently it looks as though Kingan may just be finishing on the podium ahead of Lesty, but well, if you're Splinter, you're going to be absolutely delighted with this. Jess is going to be loving it. Jess has got, in fact, she's got 2 more corners to make a move on Splinter. And Jess, you've got to go bold. You've got to be brave about this. Splinter is harvesting energy. He's harvesting. Yeah, there's a move on here. There's a move into the penultimate corner. If you think about it, it's going to be Kingan crossing the line, but it's going to be Splinter from Jess. Jess is just going to miss out on the victory here. She was wanting a victory this season. She was wanting a win. It's going to be Kingan across the line. It's going to be Jess, who, in fact, Splinter is going to give the position to Jess, and Jess wins the race. Jess Ball, race winner here in Kia. Splinter gives her the victory on the line, lifted off the throttle, gifting it to Jess. You've got to think that there was something prior that may have happened there between the pair of them, or was it that Splinter was just giving up? But well done, Jessica Ball. What a result there from her. As I said, kept her nose clean. She's a winner here in Kia, and absolutely deserved. Well done, Jess. Fantastic race there. Splinter in second position. Kingan holds on to third. Leslie in fourth. Speed Sally, Nugard, Jacko, Yuri and Jake are going to be absolutely sick. I'm sure they cannot believe what has just happened in this race. It's Jess Gamer, your winner. Splinter and Kingan on the podium here. JACKOCAR Kia Series season opener. And if the rest of the season is anything like that, we are in store for an absolute treat. And with that victory, of course, Jess automatically qualifies for the playoffs, the postseason. She does not need to worry about anything. She is a race winner here in JACKOCAR, adding her name to the list. And well, what a brilliant side there. Jess, race winner. Splinter giving up the race on the final straight, and well, you've got to think that is setting us up for a mega season. There were so many contenders, so many things went wrong for so many people, but everything went right. If you're Jessica Ball, it fell into place, and she will be absolutely ecstatic with that. And I'm sure we'll blame it on the fact that Splinter ran out of fuel on the line, so I'm sure but we'll find out from Jamie why he decided to give up the line. But it is Jess, your race winner here in the Australian Grand Prix, the first round of the season, the Kia Series at JACKOCAR. She wins in 48 minutes and 43 seconds, half a second ahead of Jamie Bromley. Splinter 24 in second, Isaac Edemer in third, Kingan 79. Then you got Leslie on his debut in fourth place. Speed Sully, Nugard and Jacko, Yuri and Jake are your finishers. Bazza Okeke crashed out on the safety car restart. Thomas Devitt, Speed Quinn and Kaya, and of course Rageman did not have a good race at all, and will be raging at how his race started. But wow, what an opener. What a way to start us off. I'm trying not to raise my voice too much, don't want to blow my voice too early. But, well, if you're Jess, you're going to be absolutely delighted with that. She is already qualified for the postseason. The win takes you directly into the playoffs. And Splinter, well, I'm sure with that result will be pretty buoyed and will be pretty happy indeed. He picks up some solid points, some playoff points for him. Playoff points, of course, for Jess and for Kingan. If you're Newgarden, you're going to be feeling that one. It looks as though it was falling into place for him, but just falling away, and issues all over the field at the end of that, when we had Yuri, we had Newgarden, we had Jacko, we had Jake, all crashing out of that. What a race, what an ending, what a start of the season here at JACKOCAR, the Kia Series. And of course, JACKOCAR does not finish here. Thursday evening, join us here on JACKOCAR's YouTube channel for the Cup Series, the top tier of JACKOCAR, where you will see the guys racing around Silverstone, including yours truly, as we continue our season, and plenty of racing left to come in that one. And we will see the likes of Ben Shaw, Speed Iceman, of course, Corey Dalton, Kieran Spears, plenty of talented drivers that are looking at putting themselves in the conversation for the regular season championship. We've got Silverstone, we've got Barcelona, San Marino, Sakhir, Spa and Austria coming up in the Cup. And of course, on Friday, make sure you tune in for the debut of the JACKOCAR IndyCar Championship from Sonoma Raceway, where the full grid, effectively, so I believe it's 16 cars all making their way around the Sonoma Raceway, and plenty of people, I'm sure, will be getting ready for that one. I cannot wait for the start of the IndyCar season here at JACKOCAR. So for this one, thank you very much for joining myself, Gareth Hall, in the commentary box. Hopefully I've not been too rusty. I'm sure we'll find it as we go on. I've got plenty of notes in front of me that I will try and pay more attention to as we go. The stats, there's figures, there's trivia. I've got it all. I just didn't have time to say it, so it will come up. Don't worry. But wow, what a race to start with! What a way to start the season. Jess is your race winner, Splinter in second, and Isaac in third. And that kicks off the season here at JACKOCAR Kia Series. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back in a week's time, so make sure you join us once again on a Tuesday night for the second round of the season, where we head over to the Circuit Paul Ricard in France for the French Grand Prix. My name has been Gareth Hall, bringing you a Kia Series here at JACKOCAR, and I will see you shortly.